I'm here at Valve headquarters in Bellevue, Washington, and as you can see, I am wearing a VR headset. That's right, Valve has a new VR headset coming, but that is not all. Valve also has a Steam Machine desktop PC. It also has a new game controller, and all of these things are going to work together. Let me tell you about it. Well, first of all, let's start with what I'm holding right here. This is the Steam Frame. This is a VR headset, but is a standalone VR headset. This could actually play games in that catalog if they port over to that. There's promises of intercompatibility if there's an APK that can run on this. Also, games from your PC library. Not just VR games, but also SteamOS games, like a Steam Deck for your face that you could take with you. This is running on an ARM processor. This is the first time that SteamOS has run on an ARM processor. And there are certain games that play on Steam Deck that are not going to run on this, and there are certain PC games that are not going to run on this. It'll be interesting to see which ones, but I got to play a standalone VR game from PC on this. That looked great. I also got to play Hades 2 on it in a big screen mode, and the controllers, which are new, have D-pads and buttons to play more games that are just your own library that are non-VR. This also has its own wireless protocol, 6 gigahertz. It comes with a dongle that's in the box. That can stream smoothly, and it also does something called foveated streaming. Now, if you're not following the VR space, this has eye tracking cameras, and the idea is not for interaction with things so much as to make sure that graphics and video quality look better. This has an LCD display that's about 2.1K per eye, and it looked good wearing it. But foveated streaming is going to make sure that the streaming of the game from your PC is only targeting with the highest resolution the areas where your eye's looking. So foveated rendering is that idea, but for graphics optimization. This can do both, and the idea is that it just works really seamlessly. I played Half-Life Alyx on this, and it looked really great. The one thing I'm looking forward to are prescription eye inserts, because for me, I wear big chunky glasses. This does fit over my glasses. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but there are 2 different fit sizes for this. I'm also curious about all the possibilities for expansion. This has a micro SD card slot, which is something you don't see on VR headsets. You could also, apparently, pop the card from your Steam Deck and put it right into here and play the games from it, which is cool. And there's also a little funky expansion port underneath, which could be used for things like high-speed cameras and who knows what else. And the battery is over here, the audio is up here, and everything else is contained up here. And it can track everything, you know, in your world without having to set up base stations. So it's that inside-out tracking with black and white pass-through cameras. Now, Steam Machine is a desktop PC. So imagine all the stuff that Steam has been doing over the years with Big Picture and trying to connect on a big screen in your living room. And this is smaller than most game consoles, and it has a nice little compact form. Apparently, you can also upgrade storage, you could upgrade RAM on it, and promising the graphics horsepower of 6x what the Steam Deck is. Now, I'm curious what compatibility there will be with what games. We got to play a handful of games here. It's early days, and some of the graphics capabilities of it may continue to shift as more graphics drivers are available. But again, they're going to be made for Steam Machine game labeling inside the library on Steam, similar to what you get for Steam Deck. And it has the same support for that 6 gigahertz wireless, so you could connect the Steam Frame to that, you could stream that, you also could do it to your own PC. And the other thing that's new to triangulate into this is a new Steam controller. Now that has the similar control situation to what's on Steam Deck. Really good haptics, apparently even better haptics on that, with dual touchpads. It's got buttons underneath, it's got all of the analog stick, D-pad. It also has the ability to do gyro aiming, and you can trigger that not just by pressing the capacitive buttons on the top analog sticks, but also underneath, which is customizable. So you could just touch those underneath and then suddenly do gyro aiming, which is really cool. So it looks like a really full-featured controller, and the idea is to provide a full set of features, wireless reliability, and you could have the Steam Machine, the Steam Frame, or maybe you don't have those, or maybe you add bits and pieces. And in the middle of all of that, there is the Steam Deck. Now, while this is not meant to directly connect to Steam Deck, it's going to share a lot of the same games, and it raises interesting questions about what's going to happen going forward. Of course, Valve is not talking about the next Steam Deck here, but it's clear that what was learned from Steam Deck was applied to this headset, to the Steam Machine, to the controller, and then all of these things are probably going to inform what happens with the next Steam Deck, some sort of next generational leap may be something that will work. With headsets or glasses, totally speculation into the future. These devices are not coming out until 2026 at prices that we don't know yet. Valve is still working that out. I'm curious where the prices will land too. But already we're seeing a ton of VR and AR headsets, ones that are blending AI, that are blending mixed reality, AR, all of that stuff. Valve is not doing that. They're focusing on playing games and also being cross-compatible with a lot of things, not just in PC, but with games in the Android standalone universe. And I'm curious about how open that can make the libraries start to feel going forward. I think it's exciting news for anyone who's into VR gaming, and I'm excited to play it a lot more next year. I'm gonna have to leave Bellevue pretty soon, and I'm gonna have to think about all of this. It's capping off a pretty wild month in VR and AR, and Valve's announcement is a big surprise.